All right, this is the EDC bag that will not die. This is the Peak Design 20-liter everyday backpack. It's the original first generation. It's not in the original colorway, it's in the all black colorway that came out a couple years after the first Peak Design everyday carry bags came out. I was looking back, these kickstarted, I think back in 2016. I got this one, I believe in 2019. So it's about 5 years old. And in this video, I just wanted to review like how this bag has worn over the last 5 years, how my use of it has evolved, and how this bag has actually kept up, taken a beating, tons of flights, tons of travel, daily use, and it's still going strong. And even if this isn't the exact bag that you're looking for to run your everyday carry, the features that are on this bag may get you thinking about how you use your bag or how you look at other EDC bags and what you want to use. Okay, first things first, the exterior of this bag. What's really important to me about this particular backpack is that it has a top handle, it has two side handles, one on each side over here by the water bottle pockets. It does not have a bottom handle. I just make sure that if this goes in like an overhead compartment or something like that, this handle is sticking out towards me. One key feature that I really like about this bag is that it has a luggage pass-through. And this bag does come with a sternum strap, but it does not come with a hip strap. I think you can get an aftermarket one, or there's like an accessory one that you can buy from Peak Design, but not one that comes particularly with the bag. Finally, I like that there are like these anchor points for lash straps, or I use like a little black diamond carabiner, especially when traveling, whether I'm attaching like my neck pillow or like my headphones. If for some reason I've needed to overstuff this with stuff, it's nice to be able to attach things to the exterior of the bag. And I guess that's something to note here as well, is there are lash straps built in that deploy from this bottom pocket. And you can either attach something here at the bottom, or you can attach something here to like the back side of the bag. Now on the top portion of this bag, you have this zippered area up top. There's like a divided compartment back here where you can get both like a 14-inch MacBook Pro along with like an iPad Pro. I carry both in here. And I found with this particular bag, it's not like over bulking the bag. There have been some everyday backpacks that I've used in the past where like an iPad and a MacBook, just it didn't make sense in there even though there was two pockets. This handles that very well. It handles having both the iPad and the MacBook Pro in there very well. And then you have a little admin compartment here at the top. So if you move this flap back, I usually throw like some breath mints up there, maybe some other little things if I'm picking something up. The one thing to note though is you don't want to stuff this particular compartment too like bulky, because then it'll actually block your access into the main compartment, which is accessible up here. So when Peak Design made this bag, they made this magnetic latching system up front, which allows you to like anchor on one of these like 4 rails up here. So if you want to overstuff the bag but still get a nice like secure construction up here, say you got to throw your hoodie in there or like a jacket or I don't know, anything when you're traveling, it's nice that this bag has a little bit of that like expansion, but then can kind of come down and get out of the way and have a very low profile when you don't need it. Another thing to note that's really cool about this particular bag is that there's a secret pocket right here. I don't even know if you could see that, but there's like a little secret pocket right here on the top. I love that there's just like that nice little secret pocket. Sometimes I'll throw some cash in there like as a backup when traveling or even just every day. Great place to put an air tag, especially if you want to be able to track your backpack. That particular pocket is just, it's not readily seen when you're diving into the bag. I'm gonna unzip the side compartments here because you can also use these to get at the interior of the bag. And if you've noticed, I've removed all of the dividers from the interior of the bag. I have actually put one of them at the very bottom just as extra padding, but I used to have this kitted out so many different ways to carry both my camera, sort of my everyday carry stuff, and I've given up kind of on carrying the camera in this bag. I have my own separate bag that I carry my camera with. I'm just not carrying it with me every day now that like my iPhone is more than good enough for sort of like everyday stuff. And if I'm going to a shoot, I have like my big camera bag that I'm gonna put my EOS R5 in with all my lenses and everything like that. Typically what I put in this bag now is like my journal, my Kindle. If I'm reading like a physical book, I'll throw that in here as well. I've also been carrying around the DJI Mic 2 and throwing that in here and just having that on me. I'm gonna have to make a separate video about what I've been doing with like audio and using the DJI Mic 2 throughout like my normal day, but I'll make a video on that so you guys can see why I'm carrying the DJI Mic 2 around as much as I am. And then finally, what I really like about the Sony XM5s, which are the headphones that I like to use, because they have like a flatter profile, I can stick them in at the top of the bag, sort of once I've stuffed everything else in there. And then because they just sit flatter, they'll collapse very easily with this mag latch system at the front of the bag. One more thing to note as I'm traveling with this particular bag as like my only bag, if I'm doing like a very short weekender trip and I just want to have one bag travel, I will throw a Peak Design sort of like packing pouch down at the bottom with like a spare change of clothes, some toiletries, and then stack everything else on top of that. And this ends up being a very useful, usable like weekender bag as well. So on these side pockets of this particular bag, you have these like magnetic water bottle holder areas. I have gotten an Nalgene in here, like a 32-ounce Nalgene. But it's tight, especially if you have the bag packed pretty tight. You may not be able to actually fit that in there. I will normally throw like my 20-ounce Hydro Flask on the side here, and that's sort of like my daily carry water bottle that I've been using. And this particular water bottle pouch holds that very well. I have been able to also fit the Peak Design travel tripod in the sides here, but again, it's a tight fit. It does stick out a lot, and you will want to use the sort of like anchor points to lash it up at the top so it's not flopping around. On the interior, and I think this is one of the most genius things about the Peak Design bag, is that it has this zip pocket on both sides with some like little organization areas to put things like a little pin. I like to keep like a hydration, like an LMT hydration, or like, yeah, I think I got some LMT hydration stuff in here. I usually throw like a beef jerky or some other little snacks, just so if I get hungry throughout the day or if I'm waiting somewhere, I have those things on me and I don't have to like dig through the bag to find it. They're not in like a separate pouch. That saves a lot of space, I've found. And then on the other side of these pockets, I usually keep just like some fun things. Like, I don't know, I keep some dice in here. These are like the Pete's Pirate Life titanium dice, just because you never know when you might need to cast lots to fulfill like a 1,000-year-old prophecy. So, you know, things like that. Keep a deck of cards, keep like a coin to flip just in case you need to make a decision about where to go for lunch. Like I said, nice and tidy, integrated into the bag. I don't need a separate like organizer in order to be able to do that. Zipping this whole thing back up. Is there anything about this bag that I don't like after 5 years of using it? Not really, no. It is starting to show its age, it's fraying, but nothing feels like it's falling apart. The one like sort of thing that's like really bugging me is that like some of these pulls that aren't looped, that are just like straight tie pulls, are really fraying. Leave a comment down below though if there's a feature that you wish this particular bag had, or if there's a feature on your EDC bag that you use every day that is not on the Peak Design bag. I'd love to know what that is. So that, be kind both in life and in the comments below, and like this video to send good vibes across the internet. Subscribe to the channel if you have yet to. Go hit the subscribe button, make it right, and thank you to everyone who already has subscribed. If you didn't see the other EDC videos that I made, this was kind of like a trilogy for 2024. I had my everyday sling bag, I had just like my everyday pocket dump, my everyday carry pocket dump, I guess. I'll link those videos down in the description below. Make sure you're subscribed, and we'll do it again soon. Later. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Hopefully I didn't break that mic.